chief guest for this day, Mrs. Revati Srinivasa, Director Education and Principal of Srimati Sulochanadevi Singhania School, Vice Principal Mrs. Kibrol, Mrs. Sakika Kapoor, IB Head and Diploma Program Coordinator of 2020. This session marks the beginning of the year. As we prepare for their last and most crucial round,
I consider it a great honor to welcome the presentation to share his thoughts with us.
Namaskar and good morning everybody. I stand before you with great pride and honor that I have been invited to be part of this very eventful and most memorable events that one can ever imagine. You have heard about me as having served in capacity of the guardian of one of the largest and the oldest university in our country, the University of Mumbai, which houses about 857 colleges, more than 900,000 students, 3,000 non-teaching colleagues in the campuses of Fort and Kalina, and over 15,000 full-time working student teachers in all our affiliated colleges. The institution of this magnitude completes 165 years of its existence on 18th of July. And I feel very honored and proud that I was chosen to be its youngest ever Vice Chancellor, the 55th in the year 2015. And one can imagine the responsibilities, the inspiration that you derive from holding such position, and probably a greater responsibility after you complete your responsibility as a Vice Chancellor, because the society watches you, whether you like it or not, and you have to be performing all the time throughout your life, not only because you are chosen as the blessed professional in the university like the Mumbai University, but as an individual, as a citizen of our country, and as a global citizen. Today we mark the commencement, or what we call it as graduation, of these 45 marvels which have been produced meticulously with probably larger commitment, because they were experiencing COVID pandemic, and there had to be a situation where they would not feel that they missed something by the absence of physical presence in their alma mater. And therefore I would like to, at the outset, congratulate all the teachers, all the non-teaching colleagues of this Sulonia group of schools, the management, and everyone, including of course the parents and the children who were part of this journey, which I am sure they will feel proud when they embark upon various milestones and vista which will open in their careers and in their lives because of this commencement, which will be more meaningful than ever in their lives. The students, I just want to make a small mention before I start reading my speech, that we are all very fortunate, including myself, that we were born to parents who had the capacity to provide us best of education, best of clothing, and best of shelter, that we were able to pursue whatever we wanted in our lives. There are, as of today, in our country, which has become the most populous country in the world, more than 1.3 billion people. In your age group, dear students, there are 18 crore people, 18 crore students, and not even 4% of them get an opportunity to complete their 12th standard education. And the only reason behind that is that we are all born to those parents who were in a position to provide us with this unique opportunity. And therefore, whatever you choose in future as a path for your life, you must always remember that this basic education and the foundation of your life, which has been provided to you by your parents, by your school, and by your teachers, you should never leave it halfway. Because by doing that, you would be depriving one individual in our country, in the world, who never had this opportunity just because he was not in a position to have economic advantage of getting into education. And therefore, whatever you do in life, you complete that task, and I'm sure you will be in a position to provide everything that you learn by way of wisdom and knowledge to the society, and also to your own alma mater, to your own country, to your own nation, to your own society. Wherever you are in the world, never forget that you belong to this great nation, which in many contexts is much superior that you will come to know in years to come. Dear audience, I have been little informal in my speech, where I didn't start by referring to the eminent personalities like all of you, including our chief guests and the mentors of these students standing here. And I would like to start with mentioning their name. Respected director of this unique higher education institution, Dr. Revati Srinivasan, and along with her, all those 15 who completed 25 years of their committed service to this great institution. I want to congratulate them. Interestingly, 4 out of 15 are sitting in the first row. And that's a very unique situation where founding pillars of this institution for the last 25 or more years are mentoring these great 45 hours. We have with us one of the best IT professionals in Mrs. Lombe, who is sitting here, and also one of the unique features, an epitome of management, human resources management, human resources development, administrative acumen that one can think of, Shri Narvekar ji, who is also here amongst all of us. We have all the parents of these wonderful children, their friends, teachers of this school, and I was very inspired to listen to Anuj and Advika. They were class in their own way. A combination of what one can think of the present and what one would think of the future. Congratulations, both of you, who represent the 45 minds they are here. So it's a collective wisdom of all of them that we heard. I also want to acknowledge the absence of 8 students out of this 45, and I had quickly mentioned the name. I may have been wrong in mentioning 1 or 2, but Aditya, Arush, Sneha, Chandrika, Prince, I could not hear the correct name because the claps were on. Then Gurjot, Krishna and me. 2 of them have traveled abroad for pursuing their studies. 2 of them were not well. Let us wish them well, and I'm sure they will come personally to collect their degrees. I'll be more than happy to come again just to hand over the degree of class A. We are very honored to be part of this graduation function. I want to congratulate all of you dear students for this unique achievement. A very unique achievement in your lives, because you will be now embarking upon a gamut of higher education where there may not be a personal attention to your progress, to your feelings, to your emotions by the teachers who will teach you. But I am sure all those institutions that you have chosen are centers of excellence, and nothing is less than any other. And therefore, whatever you have chosen, I think they are the best that you have thought of. And remember one thing, happiness is something which you will have to decide. Ultimately what happens is, Doing what you do is not happiness. Liking what you do is happiness. Otherwise, you may want to do something, you have got something else, and you will all the time feel that, oh, I should have gone here. I should not have been here. It's not like that. Whatever you have got is the best that God has chosen for you. And you can go one step ahead and prove that yes, my first choice was probably not this, but the choice that I have made is better than what I would have otherwise gotten. So all the best to all of you, and with your kind permission, I will read out the speech that I prepared. I just finished it at 9 o'clock in the morning when Maniji had called up, and I was just trying to finish my written speech because I thought I should use my words very carefully for the students, for the parents, for this great institution. And it has to be a kind of written document, which I will also feel that I could make some contribution for the growth of this great institution. My dear students, what I want to talk to you about today is the difference between gifts and choices. Cleverness is a gift. Kindness is a choice. Gifts are easy. They are given after all. Choices can be hard. You can seduce yourself with your gifts if you are not careful. And if you do, it will be to the detriment of your choices. I strongly believe that the families in which you were born is the only reason that all of you have successfully come this far. You are therefore a group of many, but with many gifts. I am sure one of your gifts is the gift of a smart and capable brain. I am confident that that is the case because admission is competitive, and if there weren't some signs that you are clever, one of the best groups of schools that I have come across in my entire life and academic career, the Singhania group of schools, wouldn't have let you in. My dear students, please remember that there is nothing wrong in your smartness. When you start walking on the pursuit of your life's journey henceforth, largely on your conviction, supported committedly by your dear parents, this smartness will come in handy because you will travel in a land of marvels. In the 21st century world, we humans, plodding as we are, have astonished ourselves with achievements of human dreams coupled with extraordinary capabilities of realizing them. We have invented ways to generate clean energy and a lot of it. In near future, we will, I am sure, be able to assemble atom by atom tiny machines that will enter cell walls and make repairs. In fact, in one of my speeches at Jnana Prabodhini, when it completed 50 years of its functioning in 2015, they had invited 6 people for orations and just about 20 minutes per person. And they were talking about 2050 what will be India in different fields like education, finance, economics, social science, technologies and innovation. And I was requested to talk on education. And I just said that in 2050, one would go to medical stores like shop, and there will be bottles in which capsules will be kept. One capsule will say cycling, another bottle will say swimming, third will say driving. And you take a capsule and next day you will be in a position to drive, cycle or swim or cars. That is the kind of development that can happen in next 20 years or 30 years from now. In 1985, Magra Mountain, one of the innovators from Harvard, predicted that there will be some smartphone and it will have touch screen and so on. Nobody believed it. Today I think we have gone beyond that. Similarly, maybe there will be an injection which will be injected to you with the title Bhagavad Gita, and next day you will start reciting. And that will become reality, I can tell you. All of us may not be fortunate to see that, many of us I would say. But that is the situation that we have achieved today in 21st century world. One of the extraordinary but also inevitable achievements of science and technology in the early decades of 21st century is that we have synthesized life. In the coming years, we will not be only synthesizing it, but we will also engineer it to specifications. I believe you will even see us understand the human brain. Jules Verne, Mark Twain, Galileo, Newton, and our own Rabindranath Tagore or Sir C.V. Raman, all the curious form the ages would have wanted to be alive, most of all right now. As a civilization, we will have so many gifts, just as you as individuals have so many individual gifts as you sit before me. My question to you, my dear students, is how will you use these gifts? And will you take pride in your gifts or pride in your choices? During our times, engineering and medical educations were the most sought after branches of making choices, followed by professions like chartered accountancy and law. I did have intellectual capabilities to make a choice among any of the above, but when I was a school-going child, I had dreamt of becoming a fighter pilot and serve our nation. Later during my college days, I decided to pursue my own choice to make a career in research. My parents and my sister, whom I regard as the most revered idols and supporters, stood behind me in every decision that I wished to take in every stage of my life. They all wanted to follow my passion. Seen in that light of those times, it really was not a very easy choice. It is not even today. But ultimately, I decided to a situation that I had to give up about all those dreams that I wanted to pursue. But for the dream that I finally decided to pursue, give it a good shot. I did think I would regret trying and failing, and I suspected I would always be haunted by the decision not to try at all. But after much consideration, I took the less safe path to follow my passion, and I am proud of that choice. My parents were highly intelligent and had acquired wisdom through decades of real life experiences. They would never say a harsh word to me. I still remember when once I had unknowingly insulted father of one of my friends who was a chain smoker by telling him that, "Uncle, if you were to go by what science tells us, at 2 minutes per each cigarette till date, you have taken 9 years from your life." My father, who was witness to this instance, took me home, looked at me, and after a bit of silence, he gently and calmly said, "Sanjay, one day you will understand that it is harder to be kind than clever." My dear students, from today, in a very real sense, the life you would like to author from scratch on your own begins. How will you use your gifts? What choices will you make? Will inertia be your guide, or will you follow your passions? Will you follow dogma, or will you be original? Will you choose a life of ease or a life of service and adventure? Will you wilt under criticism, or will you follow your convictions? Will you bluff it out when you are wrong, or will you apologize? Will you guard your heart against rejection, or will you act, will you fall in love? Will you play it safe, or will you be a little bit swashbuckling? When it's tough, will you give up, or will you be relentless? Will you be a cynic, or will you be a builder? And last but not the least, will you be clever at expense of others, or will you be kind? I will hazard a prediction. When you are in your formally post-superannuated life, and in a quiet moment of reflection, narrating for only yourself the most personal way that will be most compact and meaningful will be the series of choices you have made. In the end, we are our choices. Build yourself a great story. Now something for all the parents and the teachers and others who belong to our generation. In this very auditorium, there are people, or I would say parents of all students, who are part of the commencement ceremony of today, who represent extraordinary resources in their own professions, may it be business, most demanding jobs like a job in software, multimedia or the internet. The technologies and wisdom that all of you parents bring in, combined with extraordinary talents of teachers of Singhania group of schools, provide an opportunity to revolutionize education. And I urge you to get involved in this because it is vital. Not just to ourselves, but to the future of our children. But we have to change from the industrial model to an agricultural model, as was advocated by some of the greatest educationists who promoted the idea of each school to be a flourishing tomorrow. This very school is on the path of this philosophy where children experience life, or at home, if that's why and that's what they choose, to be educated with their families or friends. When it comes to dreams, people always quote former President of India, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who explained very beautifully what dreams are in a couple of sentences. And I quote, "A dream is not that which you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep." So dream, dream and dream. Dreams transform into thoughts and thoughts result in action. You cannot change your future, but you can change your habits, and surely your habits will change your future. Unquote. I feel the most appropriate way in which I could conclude my thought on the auspicious occasion of commencement of the batch of 2022 of all the students, it is by reading you a quick, very short poem from W.B. Yeats, which some of you may know. He wrote this to his love, Maud Thane, and he was bewailing the fact that he couldn't really give her what he thought she wanted from him. And he says, and I quote, "I've got something else, but it may not be." He says this, and I quote again, "Had I the heavens embroidered clothes, enwrought with gold and silver light, the blue and dim and the dark clouds of night and light and the half light, I would spread the cloths under your feet, but I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams." Dear parents, please do not ever forget that every day, everywhere, our children spread their dreams beneath our feet, and we should tread softly. Thank you very much for your time.